Joining us now in the Hyundai Texans radio studio, head coach D'Amico Ryans. Coach, congratulations on the latest win. How are you doing?
Doing great. Better after a win.
Always better after a win. And Victory Monday. So tell us about Victory Monday. The guys seem to be rather excited about Victory Monday.
Yeah, I guess I've been grinding the guys a little too hard here, but Victory Monday. On Mondays, we always come in and you can call it Tell the Truth Monday. So we go through our film, just review the game. Guys get with position coaches. I do a team meeting, players of the game. They get a lift in. So that's pretty much their Mondays, kind of a half day. But Victory Mondays, they don't have to come in at all. Monday and Tuesdays, they're off days. So they get 2 days off this week, and then we'll all start up again on Wednesday. So they're always excited to get that extra day off.
Not bad.
And you get that victory, 5 seconds left. Get the ball down at the 20-yard line. Matt Amendola's already hit 2 kicks, made all his extra points. But what are you thinking at that point? Game tied 27-27. What are you thinking when he's lining up for that kick? You look pretty calm. You look calm.
I was calm. I felt like we were definitely within his range, but even we got further, right? That play by Noah getting even further than we needed to. So I was feeling good about it, thinking that, okay, we're in range. He should make this for sure. Matt's a veteran kicker, has been around for a while, made a lot of big kicks in his league. So I was calm and I was hard. I was like, man, should I watch it? Should I not watch it? I don't know. But when I seen it go up and through, I was like, wow, I just can't believe we won in this fashion.
Well, you remember your first coach, Gary Kubiak, would not watch the big field goals, right?
Right. He wouldn't watch. So I had a Gary moment there, and I wanted to just stare at the ground and not look. But, man, thankful that he made it.
So does it say anything more about next man up than having 2 big field goals in each of the last 2 wins kicked by 2 different people, and neither of them is Emi?
Wow, that's been the story of our year, right?
Yeah.
Who is up, who is playing this week, right? It doesn't really matter, right? For me, that's the next man up mentality. That's the team first mentality. Like, if you step out there for the Texans, we're just expecting you to go out and perform to the best of your ability, right? And we all have each other's back no matter what happens. But it's just a true, team mentality. You feel that connection, that vibe, the really good vibe from our team, that they truly care about each other and they're pulling for each other's success.
Coach, it felt like it was another one of those games where you got 8 guys out and you talk about next man up. It's great. But you got eight guys out, and that doesn't even include 3 guys that went on IR after the game last week. So guys step up. It felt like it was an organization win because everybody across every level of that game made a play. Yes, there were some stars. Noah was huge. Devin was great, but it felt like everybody contributed to this win. Is that the way you looked at it?
For sure. That's the way I look at it, man. That's what I want. Everybody contributed, and that's what we needed. We needed everyone. I mean, and I told our guys this on Saturday, right, before we got on the buses to take off for the plane. I said, if you get on this bus, right? If you get on this bus, the only reason you're getting on this bus is to go help us get a win in Cincinnati. And that's it. That's the only thing that needs to be on your mind. And, my God, we needed everybody. Yeah. And everybody helped. Guys made big plays. Special teams, great job. Made defense. Had some really big stops, third down stops. Offense, of course, another explosive outing, right? It's just it took everybody. And it took everybody down to the new guy who just got here on last Tuesday, a kicker, Matt Amendola, stepping up, winning the game for us.
So they score on their opening drive, but after that, you really put the clamps on them for a big portion of the game until the end when they got a little hot. But what was the key to really slowing them down during the time you did?
The key was really like our disguise and what we were trying to do. I think that was the key, right? We held our disguises really well. We had good stops on first down. We won first down, which put them in a second and long. We were able to know we were playing pass and kind of tee off with the D-line. And then we got into favorable third downs, and we got stops on third down. And that's where we haven't been doing a great job over the past couple of weeks, but we got stops on third down. We were able to get 3 and outs. I think we had like 5 in a row, 3 and outs, which is we haven't done that before, but we played well together defensively.
Coach, one of the things I love to do is kind of pique your brain as it pertains to pass rush, because it felt like yesterday, and I don't know the numbers on this. This is just watching the game. It didn't feel like you blitzed a lot. Right. And I started thinking, well, maybe that was because those front four were winning up front, that you felt good enough, hey, one of those guys from the front four is going to get there against our offensive line. We can win 4-on-5. Is that kind of the way that you look at it, or do you like to send different looks just to see how they'll respond before you kind of get locked in how you want to call the rest of the game? How do you kind of look at that situation? You can't give anything away, but I'm just always curious kind of your thought process and how you go about it.
Right, yeah, I always try to mix it up, right? Sometimes I try to go pressure early to see how they're handling, but I always want to get a feel for our front four.
Yeah.
Right, because if our front four is humming,
right,
then that allows us to really, keep 7 in coverage. We can double team certain guys. We can be exactly where we need to be in coverage and buy the D-line even more time. So when our front four is right, and that's what I told our guys, I felt it. Right. I felt Sheldon, I felt JG, I felt Will, like they were rushing. They were getting after Burrow. They were putting him in the ground a lot. They were hitting him, and it disrupted his process. And I think that allowed us, right, to play better on defense because he was getting antsy in the pocket.
Yeah, and it seems like when you can get there with 4, I mean, that's obviously going to help the back end guys. You had 2 big picks in the fourth quarter. What about that part of it?
2 huge picks, and we're only able to do that because of Sheldon's pressure on the quarterback. We get an overthrow, really good coverage underneath. Quarterback overthrows the ball, right? DHC gets the pick there, and then in a hurry-up type situation, they try to scramble to catch us, right? And Shaq does a good job of sinking back, staying in coverage, not jumping up, right? He stayed back in coverage, threw the ball right to him. But it's all about the pressure. When the quarterback feels that pressure early on, even if there isn't like enough pressure, he's just going to get antsy. It's going to move him. It's going to speed up his process, and that's exactly what we want.
Well, you're top 10 in a lot of categories, but rushing defense would be one of them. And what goes into that? What's the key to being good against the run? I know I ask you this almost every other week, but it really is interesting to me how you're able to do this week after week.
Right. It starts with, again, our edge setters. So our defensive ends, how they set the edge. If they're physical, right, they contain the run and just box it in. So our guys, was linebackers, nickels, all right, our 2 D tackles, if they're just, our edges are set and they force the ball inside, now those guys can secure the tackle. When you get beat in the run game is when you don't set the edge on the perimeter and the ball circles you guys, get outside. And Will and JG have done a great job. Dylan Horton, all right, Jerry, they've done a great job of setting the edges over the past few weeks and, forcing teams to throw the ball. And I think we've been, around some teams who didn't rely heavily on the run game. The Bengals, they didn't run the ball as much as they have in the past, and we did a good job, I think, of hitting Mixon early and swarming them, right, to take them out of the run game.
On the flip side of that, Coach, it felt like you blocked the edge in the run game, Texans run game, that much better. Obviously, Devin gets a touchdown off that kind of counter flip play. But you blocked the edge. You got great blocks on the edge. Devin was able to turn the corner like 2 or 3 times. How much did that impact how you were able to run the ball? Because you ran it inside pretty well, but you also got the edges too.
Oh, yeah, that was huge. I thought our tight ends did a really good job. The tackles did a really good job of working the edges, right? We have those double teams on the edges a lot, right? Trying to capture the defensive ends, capture safeties, and the Bengals did a really good job of mixing in safety pressure. So now our receivers are brought into the mix, and now they have to come and try to crack safeties, get in on corners. So overall, the guys did a really good job of just great hat placement in the run game, and Devin, again, did a great job of running the ball and finishing with the physical mindset.
It's really interesting to me, Coach, the free agents you got in the offseason and guys who are not me guys, they're we guys like Devin Singletary, Noah Brown, wait for their opportunities and then explode. I mean, Devin had his first rushing touchdown yesterday, yet he's already thrown a touchdown pass somehow. And Noah Brown puts up historic numbers back-to-back. What about the mindset of these guys who came in the offseason?
Yeah, they're hungry. Right, most guys are your free agents, right? Your team doesn't sign you back, right? Whether it's that 1-year deal type, man, you're hungry to show like, hey, I can do it in this league, right? And I love having those guys who have that kind of I'm going to show the world who I really am type of mentality. And those are the guys we got with Dalton, with Noah, with Devin. Like guys are just out to prove that they belong in this league and they can make big plays.
Coach, I always think about you and former defensive players, how they would attack a certain current player. And I look at Devin, I think that would be a guy I wouldn't want to tackle ever, because if he gets you in a hole one-on-one, he's going to give you that dead leg and you're done. And he did that probably 2 or 3 times. So slick with it. what makes him so tough? Is that move just so difficult for linebackers, for safeties, when they're coming up and trying to get there quickly, that he's just boom, boom, he makes that one cut and he's gone? Is that what is kind of simple to his success?
Yeah, I think it starts with the way he started the game running the ball. Like he started, it was just downhill, just not running through guys. And now you come up and you're trying to prep for that, where he hits you with I call it a little R2 button on Madden, a little juke move.
Yeah.
He hits you with the juke move, and you're thinking he's going to try to run you over, and then it's just that little move right there that sticks you, and you're stuck in the ground, or I call it you're on skates. You're falling over. It's really impressive, and it's just instinctual by him of when and where you need to do that move.
Yeah.
All right, we now begin the C.J. Stroud portion of the program, Coach. He's so good that his first interception ends up being a first down for himself. His second interception just sets up the dramatics for another down the field, last-second victory. But what about the way he played and the way he shook off the pick, most importantly?
Yeah, it's, again, impressive. I mean, what I seen in this game is where we asked CJ to improve is just stepping up in the pocket, right? He had for the past couple of weeks, he's been moving back in the pocket, going backwards, and we just asked him to step up, right? And he did that, made some plays, actually scored a rushing touchdown just by stepping up in the pocket. So to see that improvement week after week, that's what you want to see, right? Then the interception, right? Don't want to throw the interception at that spot. Bad timing. But what an effort by Tank to get the guy down to give us a chance.
Absolutely.
And CJ and Tank, they come to me on the side like, we got the ball back. They're like, Coach, we got you. Don't worry, Coach. Don't worry. We got you. It's like, all right, guys, let's see it.
Yeah.
And but for him to have that resolve, like that one bad play didn't affect him. Like he doesn't go in the tank after a bad play. And that's what you have to have, that kind of next play mentality as a quarterback, because if bad things happen, man, we have a lot of ball left. And for him to go out and have that confidence that he knew he was going to make plays, right, to help us win that game.
All right, the coach, we got you, though. I want to get back to that for a moment, because I think it was the preseason game, maybe against Miami or something, where you said, hey, I want everybody together on the sideline. I want everybody together as a group into the game. And the fact that they said that reminds me of that. That's the togetherness you're looking for. And whether or not they came through or not, at least they feel that way, and they're going to act like it.
No doubt. That was the preseason. That was after our Miami game. It wasn't good enough. We came back the Saints game, and you saw, like, our team, you saw the energy, you saw a really good vibe from our sideline. And it was the same, like, guys just really connected. And that's what I feel like Tank, CJ, like, they feel that true connection with the entire team. Like, hey, man, we got this. We know we're going to make plays.
I feel one of the things, Coach, when we talk about CJ, kind of maybe doesn't get mentioned as such, is the offensive line. And, okay, the offensive line did great in protection. Okay, but what really did they do? Okay, well, they blocked their guys, and that's fine. But one of the things that stood out, going back and watching the game, there were a couple of blitzes that the Bengals brought where they bring somebody in A-gap, they bring a guy from depth, and it looked like there's crisscrossing, there's cross dogs going on, and yet guys just picked it up, and CJ had time to throw. And so I feel like the offensive line protection was really good in picking up whatever pressure they were bringing, to a point where it felt like we can't pressure them, so let's just send four. The second half. But the offensive line protection, how did you see it? How did you feel that group was able to protect CJ yesterday?
That's always key, right? When we're talking about CJ, we're only talking about him because of the protection and the time that he has, and not only the offensive line, but also the backs having to step up and block the tight ends. Like, everybody is involved in the protection, and those guys, again, did another great job. Right, for the Bengals, man, they threw every pressure in the book at us. Right, they ran zero pressure on first down. They were running cross dogs in the middle. Every pressure you can think of, nickel, safety, they had it. Right, and I think, why did they do that? I look to it as like, that just shows the respect that they have for our quarterback, and trying to confuse him, give him as many different looks as possible, and for him to know his answers versus the zero pressure, and speed it up and make them pay. Like, it's just really cool to see that growth and improvement, to see how much respect other teams have for him to even try to run that much pressure at him. And our O-line, the way they picked it up, awesome job by them.
All right, I know you're vaguely familiar with Arizona, having faced them so many times with the 49ers organization, but what are we seeing here on Sunday, Coach? Because this is Kyler Murray, Connor. This is a different team than they were a few weeks ago. Brand new team. The record doesn't really mean anything.
Right, the Kyler Murray show. You guys got to tighten their shoelaces up a little tighter. You're going to be running around a little longer. All right, this week. One thing I always remember about Kyler is you got to cover him twice, right? Because if it's not there on his first hits, like he's going to start to move around. And now you have to really what we call plaster on defense, where you really have to man the closest guy in your zone and stay with him. So our D-line is going to have to rush a little bit longer than they've done in past weeks because Kyler is just he's phenomenal at moving around in the pocket. And then you add Connor in the mix. You talk about a physical back who runs downhill, powerful back. It's going to take everybody swarming him to get after him as well.
So, Coach, for your linebackers, what's a big teaching point? You talk about defensive line. You got to rush a little bit longer. You got to keep going. If you get your hands on them, you got a shot to bring them down. DBs, you plaster those receivers, and then you're on them. What's your kind of key for the linebackers? Because I would imagine with Connor and with Kyler, it's kind of not two different ball games, but it's kind of two different approaches. How about your linebackers and facing those two?
Yeah, definitely two different approaches. When it comes to the linebackers, first in the run game, they have to handle Connor when it comes to the run game, and they have to be physical. It won't be one guy bringing him down. So you have to put body on body, right, and really wrap him up. Yep. That's going to be the key for those guys. And then when it comes to Kyler, they're going to be asked to be in coverage as well. So they have a little bit of that where they have to plaster like there are DBs.
Yep.
And then they're also going to be asked to rush him, where they have to rush a little bit longer, right, like the D-line. So they have a little mix of both.
Yeah. What can you tell us about how different he might be in this particular offense? Because you saw him in another offense. It's still him, but it's a new system.
Yeah, it's still him. I think for Kyler, he does certain things well that play callers have to tailor to what he does well. So there'll be, of course, design quarterback runs. He really loves a draw play. So I know they have a quarterback draw in there, right? RPO game. That's where Kyler thrives.
You still watch a lot of the Dobbs stuff, though, that they were running, right?
Yeah, we'll watch everything that they've done, try to pick up on any tendencies we can get. All right, but most of it is going to be, tailored to Kyler.
I know the answer to this, but I would like for you to expand on it if you could, Coach. Playing back at home. Now you got 3 weeks in a row. We talked about that before. You got 3 weeks in a row at home. But coming off the last 2 wins and coming back home, Kyler's in only his second start. How important does the crowd become for you guys? I know it makes communication tough for you guys at times, but I would imagine you'd love having it rather than not.
Right. I mean, coming back home, it's after 2 big wins, and I still remember that Tampa Bay game. Towards the end of that game, how loud our stadium was and how it affected the quarterback and their offense. They had to burn timeouts, right? They caused them a penalty, right? False start. Like, our fans can truly impact this game, right? And offense, as the Cardinals, they're going to come in, they try to communicate at the line of scrimmage. We need our fans to impact that. We need you guys to be as loud as possible, right? We need you guys to show up, right, and really make it chaotic for them when they are on offense. And you're going to make it difficult for us on defense, but that's okay. Yeah. We'll find a way to communicate. But, man, we wanted you guys as loud as possible.
It says so much about your team, the way you were able to execute down the stretch in these last 2 games. And I'm looking around the league and seeing a lot of teams that didn't necessarily in the last couple of weeks or yesterday. So tell us how much of those other games, because I know you show the players situations that come up from other games, but how much of those other games do you like to show them? Say, hey, look what Team X did against Team Y, and let's not do that, or let's try to do this, or whatever the case may be.
I love showing those clips. Because there's teaching moments and things that we can learn from. They're where we don't want to put ourselves in a bad spot. If we can learn from other team mistakes, we want to do that. So Friday meeting, we had a really good meeting on a 2-minute drive where a team defensively, they just let the offense march down just because of defensive penalties, and then the offensive team got pushed back because of bad decisions and offensive penalties, and it was just a teaching moment there to like. When we go and we are in these crunch time moments, 2-minute situations, like, let's just not hurt ourselves, right? If we don't hurt ourselves, we have a chance. And that was the teaching moment on this past Friday. And, of course, we have another big 2-minute drive there, and we did a great job of just methodically moving down the field without hurting ourselves at all.
All right, Amagi Bank Ask Coach question of the week. Here it is. It's from Marc Vandermeer in Sugar Land, Texas. Youth league coaching, because I'm coaching my kids' basketball team, 10-year-old kids, coach. So what advice would you have for youth league coaches here, dealing with little kids, trying to get them to play well but still have fun and learn, that kind of thing?
Patience. No, it's all about having fun for sure. My kids just started basketball as well. It's all about them just having fun and making sure the kids are just learn, a couple fundamentals of the game. But the most important thing, I think, is kids just having fun.
All right, good stuff. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, John.